biggest thing that I've been battling with after this breakup is shame. Honestly, if I'm keeping it real, it is shame, and I don't think that's something that I really expected after this relationship. But I've been dealing with a lot of shame, and that's really why I took the trip, was because that was affecting me, if I'm being honest, and I haven't really told a lot of people about that. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Laura Maluhi, and I am the host of the In Harmony podcast. We're here with you today for another video, and this one is going to be different from what we usually do in that, for those of you who don't know, I recently went on my first solo trip this past month, and it was quite the adventure, to say the least. So in this video, we're going to be going over all of the big, I guess, epitomes that I've had during this solo trip, and how it's changed my life in ways that I didn't really expect, if I'm keeping it real. So to add to that, I thought it would be cool to give you guys more of that behind the scenes look of not just talking about the solo trip, but actually taking you on the solo trip with me. And so you'll see that I took some vlogs or little videos and little clips of my time there, so you can capture in real time what I was going through during that trip. The good, the bad, the highs, the lows, to inspire you to maybe take a solo trip for yourself if that's something that you've been wanting to do, or to just take a trip in general. Maybe it's something you know you need to take, but you've just been putting it off. And then at the end, we're going to talk about the biggest things that I've learned that have really, really impacted my life. So I'll stop blabbering, but without further ado, let's hop into the vlogs.
Lunch was amazing. If any of you all are ever thinking of coming to Santa Barbara one day, I've been here before, but it was a few days with family, so we didn't really explore the city a ton, although I do remember loving it, and the nature just being beautiful, and the people being friendly, and it being a chill vibe overall. So that's the reason I decided to do a solo trip here in Santa Barbara. Plus the flight to LAX wasn't too bad. I think it was like $350 for the flight, and then but I booked it kind of late. But yeah, about $350 for the flight, maybe about $350 for the car rental, and I did pay, for me, a lot of money for the Airbnb. It was about $600 and some change. But I was looking at different parts of the country to visit, and I decided on Santa Barbara because I thought I could just fly into LAX, and it was pretty affordable. And there's a lot of stuff to do here, but it's also definitely a more chill, laid-back vibe. So the drive was very nice. I'm a slow driver, so it took me some time, but it was a very nice drive. And lunch was amazing. I went to the Santa Barbara Public Market. It's kind of near downtown, I think. And 6 minutes up the street is the old mission of Santa Barbara. So that is where I currently am at. It's overcast, which is nice. It's a little chilly, but nothing too crazy. So I'm going to just tour the mission, and the surrounding area here is beautiful. Like, literally, you just need a book and to walk around, maybe some music, some AirPods, and it's a really, really nice vibe. So I'm really excited to get started. But yeah, let's go and see the old mission. I just finished at the old mission, Santa Barbara, and it was beautiful. It took like maybe an hour and a half, so it wasn't too long. But what I didn't know is outside of the mission, there is a beautiful rose garden with countless varieties of the most beautiful roses. Like there's a type of rose named Julia Child, Sunset Celebration, Judy Garland. There's a bunch of beautiful roses here. So if you are ever able to go to the old mission of Santa Barbara, make sure to stop by the rose garden afterwards and read a good book and enjoy the beautiful roses. Okay, and now I'm going to get probably a coffee or a tea of some sort and then go check into the Airbnb. So now I am here at dinner at this place called L'Antica Pizzeria, and it is amazing. I ordered a pesto pasta, and I am not lying when I say that it is actually the best pasta I've ever had in my life. I don't know if it's because I'm super hungry or what it is, but it is amazing. And I'm just here in downtown Santa Barbara, just watching people stroll by. I'm here reading my book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and I am journaling a little bit just to get all the thoughts out. But yeah, I checked into the Airbnb, and not gonna lie, this is a very it's starting to feel uncomfortable. I am definitely pushing myself outside of my comfort zone. Um, I've never I've gone on solo dates before, but I've never actually gone on a solo trip, and to be somewhere where you don't really know anybody um, is scary, but also liberating and frightening at the same time, but also empowering in a way. So let's see how it goes. But I'm definitely feeling like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I can't believe I did this. What was I thinking? But also being like, I'm here, I'm going to make the best out of it. And it's really cool. There's actually this, like, it's kind of hard to see, but there's actually I think it's what's it called? The thing you do before a wedding, bridal. I don't think it's a bridal shower. It's the thing you do before you get married. I think that's what's going on. And it's really cool because there's a lot of people here. And I'm here on this little patio. And it's really nice. And they have music going on. But yeah, I'm just here journaling on social media a little bit, reading my book, just thinking. And like I said, it's definitely a push outside of my comfort zone. But we're going to make the best out of it. So it is day 2. It is almost 6 o'clock over here, and I am currently at the beach. That is called Stearns Wharf, and I think this is called East Beach, but I could be wrong. I'm not quite sure where I am. So rule number 1 of solo traveling, know where you are. But today has been good. Today has actually been better so far, thankfully, than yesterday. I think yesterday, since this is my first solo trip, I was like, what am I doing? Why did I decide to do this? I didn't think this through. And just how the negative thoughts sometimes creep in. And I was like, I don't know anybody here. Like, what happens if something happens to me? And then yesterday, I was just walking around downtown, and it was getting kind of late. Not that late. It was like 8:30. But I just started to get a little scared. Not that anything was happening, but it's just an uncomfortable feeling. And then I don't know if any other solo travelers or first time solo travelers can relate to that, but and then being in someone's space, and it's just different. I think your body is used to like your bed and your bedroom and your place and your city and your state and people, your neighborhood, and to not be around that is a little daunting at first. But today I feel really good. But I did work a little bit today, but for the most part, I was trying to enjoy the city. So definitely day 2, I am feeling better. I'm feeling more confident about my decision, and in a way, I'm proud of myself because I did it, And I think a lot of times, if I'm being honest, those negative thoughts start to creep in, and especially after a breakup, it's weird being single again. It's weird not, this is whatever, but it's weird not having someone to talk to, not having somebody to call or to text, that you're in a romantic relationship with. It is an adjustment. So I've definitely been feeling that more. I don't think I've really had the opportunity to really sit down and reflect on what happens. And in a way, I'm trying to give myself the space to, like, yeah, girl, like, feel all the feelings, but I'm also like, but the future is forward, and that's also bittersweet, but also empowering, because there's so much more that God has planned for you. There's so much more. If it didn't work with this one person, or that one job, or that one position, or that right friendship, that means that God has something in store for you, if we choose to seek Him first and to improve ourselves. And I definitely think a solo trip can help with that, because you're really forced to be with your own thoughts. And the beautiful thing is, a lot of times when we're around people, we may be talking the way they talk, we may be doing the things they like to do, listening to the music that they like to listen to, when we don't actually like that stuff. But the nice thing about being on a solo trip is that you are literally wake up when you want to wake up, do the things that you want to do, go the places you want to go to. You can talk with people, obviously be safe, but you can wear what you want to wear. You can really reflect on where I'm at in my life. Is this where I want to stay? What's my direction? Read the books that you want to read. I highly recommend bringing a journal. I've been journaling some things, not always positive things, but I've been trying to get my feelings out in my journal and reflecting on even my career. Where do I want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Is this place where I find myself? And I think sometimes getting distance from friends, family members, loved ones, coworkers, your boss, whatever it may be, really helps with that clarity. And I think when you leave wherever you live, even if it's just for a weekend trip, it doesn't have to be anywhere crazy. It doesn't have to be Spain, although if you want to go to Spain, do you? It could even just be a weekend trip to a nearby like hiking town, or a nearby ski town, or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be anything too expensive or too far. But when you remove yourself from the same routine, the same people, it gives you a moment to see and explore other possibilities where you can take your life. But also, if I'm being honest, what I didn't expect was, I have also reflected on my appreciation for where I am at currently. I'm so lucky to have the family that I have. I'm so lucky to have the friendships that I have. I'm so lucky to have the job that I have, as just some examples. So sometimes when you take a solo trip and time for yourself, you reflect on things in your life that you can do better, but also things that you really appreciate. Like, now that I'm by myself, I know sometimes my family, for example, gets on my nerves, but I miss them so much. I'm so excited to see them. Today I was on the phone with some friends. I'm going to respond to some voice memos from some friends I haven't talked to in a while. So that also helps, where you don't feel so lonely, because you're like, oh my God, I haven't talked to this friend in forever because of all the hustle and bustle and how busy I am in my everyday life. But now I can respond to this message. Now I can ask them and have a real conversation with them about how they're doing. There's a lot of benefits to it. And so far it's been good. Day 2 has been amazing so far. In the morning, I was still kind of adjusting, but now I feel really good and I'm really excited. Tomorrow I'm going to try to go to this Dutch town called Solvange. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's this little tiny Dutch village that low-key looks like Disneyland. I want to say it's like 45 minutes from Santa Barbara. So let's see how that goes. That is the plan. But yeah, day one was a bit of an adjustment, not gonna lie. Part of day two was, but now I'm feeling really good, and I hope it continues. So yes, next thing I'm going to read my book a little bit here at the beach, and then my phone is about to die, so I have to go back to my car to get my charger, and then I'm gonna try to get some dinner. It is day three. It is a Saturday, and this morning was actually kind of rainy. So I got some coffee in the morning and then a little granola bar. And then I came to the farmer's market downtown, and it was raining. So I just kind of waited in my car and did some work just for like an hour. And then I went to the farmer's market. It was beautiful. They have fresh flowers, delicious dried fruit, and almond butters and all that stuff. And I did get some. I got pecan butter and some dried pears that I'm very excited to munch on before I head to Solvang. But thankfully it's much more sunny now and it's not so gloomy, and hopefully the drive isn't too crazy. But overall, I feel very good today, much better than the first day. I was listening to some music, just like walking through the farmer's market, and had the best time. So far, day three, the vibes, the feelings are pretty good. And hopefully they will continue into the rest of the day and for the rest of the trip. So, yes, I will see you all in Solvang, one of the two, maybe. Hello there. I know I look a little crazy. It is currently raining here in Solvang. I learned that that's the correct way to say it, Solvang. But I just finished up. I'm going to head back to Santa Barbara, and this was incredible. I highly, highly recommend, if you are anywhere in this part of California, to visit Solvang if you have a chance to. It's the Danish capital of America, and it's the design and the culture and the tradition is so like rich here. You're like, oh, it's gonna be all diluted, and it's gonna be like Danish-ish, but no, it's Danish, period. It is so nice. The architectural buildings, the design, they actually have strict codes to make sure that the buildings are designed to meet the architectural guidelines to maintain their historical, traditional integrity, whatever that means. It is so cool. So I just got back to the car. I went to the Elverhoy Museum, $5. Highly recommend stopping by. It was beautiful. And I went to the Solvang Bakery, and I got a almond tart, a honey almond tart, and they gave me a chocolate one. So I was like, oh, I wanted just the plain one. And she's like, oh, keep that one, girl, and I'll give you so that was super cool. Very, very friendly people here, very nice staff. You feel very safe. I wasn't able to explore anything because of the weather, but I definitely want to come back one day to explore everything. And well, I actually ran through the rain. It's raining, and I was a little far from my car. And then I got a little oat milk latte just to set the vibe for the drive back. But as I was walking to the Elverhoy Museum, I was listening to music, and I got a little emo because I was just thinking, if you're going through a rough season right now, whether you're single or not single, whether maybe you feel like somebody mistreated you in life to any degree, an ex-partner, a friend, a family member, a boss, whoever it may be, the most important thing that you can do is be kind to yourself before others are kind to you. We can't base our self-worth and the care that we have for ourselves based on the things that other people say to us, the things that other people do for us. And talking to all my single friends out there, if you are like, oh my God, if you're anything like me, I've been wanting to go to Europe for the longest time and I've never been there. And I would always tell myself, once I'm married, I'll go there. For my honeymoon, I'll go there, or something like that. Because the thought of, going by yourself to me is daunting. Until I met somebody who did. She's somebody who's very close to my family. She's a single woman in her 60s, and she lives the best life. She's never been married. She doesn't have any kids. And I was telling her about my solo trip, and she was like, oh, I remember my first solo trip. I went to Spain. And I'm like, I'm tripping because I'm going to another state and you're here going to a whole other continent. And if she can do that, that's something that I can do, So I'm telling you this because you don't have to wait to treat yourself to a nice dinner, to treat yourself to a nice trip, to treat yourself to a nice purse, a nice bag, anything that you've really been wanting, a piece of jewelry that you've been really wanting. You don't have to wait for somebody else to give that to you. You don't have to wait for somebody else to validate, oh, I'm worthy of going on a trip like this. I'm worthy of receiving a gift like this. You can do that for yourself. And I got a little emo walking to the museum because I was like, I've always thought, oh my God, that'd be so cool if somebody took me to Spain one day, or I did that for my honeymoon, or somebody did this for me. But I'm like, wait, I can do that for myself. And I think that's one of the ultimate forms of self-love. Is it doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But if you've always wanted somebody to treat you with kindness, to treat you with love, to treat you to gifts, to treat you to a relaxing day, that is not something that you have to wait for somebody else to do. That's something that you can do for yourself. And I think it's just hard to compete with a love like that, because that's the love from God. That's the love that he wants you to have for yourself, because that's how he sees you. You're his child. You're his prized possession. He is obsessed with you, and you deserve to be treated with the utmost care. You are precious cargo, my friend, and you deserve to be treated accordingly. So this is a reminder, if there's anything that you've been wanting to do that maybe you're afraid to do, maybe you think it's weird, maybe you don't know how it's scary, or you don't know how it'll be, I encourage you to just consider trying it, because you only get one life. And if we're sitting on the sidelines waiting for the right person to come along, the right opportunity to come along, in order to take that time to show ourselves love, God knows how long we'll be waiting. And if you are single or whatever it is, if you treat yourself kindly, if you treat yourself to the trips you've been wanting to go on, the places you've been wanting to go to, the items that you've always wanted to have, you're not going to settle for somebody who treats you worse than how you treat yourself. So it really sets the bar for how you deserve to be treated and how you expect to be treated when the right person comes along. So hope that makes sense. I'm going to try to eat that tart, enjoy Solvane a little bit more before I head back to Santa Barbara. But I just wanted to drop that. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys hopefully very soon. It is officially day 4, and it is my last day here in Santa Barbara. Today is Sunday, so I found a church here, and I went to it, and it was beautiful. I low-key cried during the message. It was really, really good. So that was cool. It was something different for me, so I really enjoyed that. And then I just went to go get some lunch, and now I'm gonna go get go rent a bike to go and bike. I'm gonna try to bike along Butterfly Beach. There is overcast, so I don't know how nice of a bike ride it's going to be, but I really want to make the most out of my last day and be active. But I feel good. I've had a great trip so far, And I think 3 to 4 days is perfect. And I'm actually excited to go back home, but I'm excited to have my last day as well. So yeah, let's go rent these bikes.
I hope you guys enjoyed those little videos and little clips of my solo trip to Santa Barbara. And I only went for 4 days, so it wasn't anything too crazy. And I know I touched on most of it in the video, so we're not going to dive into it too much. But going on a solo trip is something I've been wanting to do for the longest time, but to be honest, I just kept putting it off. Either I didn't have the guts to do it, I was afraid of doing it. It's something that scared me, but that I knew I wanted to do. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who has heard this quote that says, life starts at the end of your comfort zone. And that couldn't be more true. And I knew that this was going to absolutely put me outside of my comfort zone, but it's something that I wanted to do. So I booked the ticket, I booked the flight, and boom, made it happen. And in a way, I'm grateful for my recent breakup because it kind of inspired me to do that. And I was thinking, man, I know I just need some alone time. I know life and work has just been getting crazy and I'm going through a lot of emotions and processing things. And I know I just need some time with myself and honestly, more importantly, with God. I just want to hear his voice. I want to get some clarity, some understanding. And this solo trip absolutely gave me that. And funny enough, I'm reading this book called The One Thing by Gary Keller. And he says something in there that really stuck out to me that was actually super applicable to the fear of taking a solo trip. And he says, time waits for no one. Push something to an extreme and postponement can become permanent. So what that means is take that trip. If you're anything like me, I think a lot of times as human beings, we say, oh, I'm too busy with the family, the kids, my husband, my spouse, my friends, my work, so many things going on. And maybe there's something you've been really wanting to do. And maybe it's not a trip. Maybe it's going to a concert you've been really wanting to go see an artist you've really wanted to see, going to a museum in your town that you've really wanted to check out, but you just keep putting it off. Because I think a lot of us think, oh, I'll just go tomorrow. Oh, I'll just go next year. Oh, I'll just go next month. But when I read that, I was like, tomorrow is not certain. Next month is not certain. I don't know where my life is going to be in a year. All of us have all these plans, and God forbid we lose a family member. We don't know what's going to happen next year, and we're going to have to completely cancel all of the plans that we had. And the last thing we want to do is regret, man, I should have taken that trip last year. I should have gone and see that artist last year because they're not even alive anymore. Whatever it may be, the tomorrow is not promised. And sometimes we push something to an extreme and postponement can become permanent. We can never take that trip. We can never go see that artist. We can never go take our kids to Disneyland, do that thing that we've always been wanting to do because nothing in life is certain. So that's something that really inspired me to take this trip and also to take more trips in the future. And I have to say, I know I kind of already talked about the biggest things that I learned in the little baby vlogs, but there's this song that I was listening to recently that I've had on my playlist for quite some time. I'm not sure if any of you guys have heard it out there, but it's called Make It Out Alive by Christian Stanfill. And in that song, he says, if you don't give yourself completely, you won't get to see the beauty waiting on the other side. Step into the furnace. Let the fire serve its purpose. It's painful in the flame, but it's what it takes to change. If you want a resurrection, then a dying has to happen. This death is not the end. Oh, it's where your life begins. And if I'm being honest, the biggest thing that I've been battling with after this breakup is shame. Honestly, if I'm keeping it real, it is shame. And I don't think that's something that I really expected after this relationship. But I've been dealing with a lot of shame, and that's really why I took the trip, was because that was affecting me, if I'm being honest. And I haven't really told a lot of people about that. But sometimes it's not just a relationship, anything in life, shame is a stranger to nobody. All of us have experienced shame in one degree or the other. And if I'm keeping it real, the shame that I was experiencing was mostly because I felt stupid. I felt dumb. I felt, I don't know how to say it without getting into it too much, but not just in this past relationship, but in other relationships, I've left feeling like, God, I was so stupid. Like, I can't believe I believed this. I can't believe I fell for this. I can't believe I thought this. I can't believe I did this. I can't believe a number of things that we wish we can go back and change. And again, I know I'm not the only one out there that has experienced that and feel that. We have all experienced that to some degree. And going on this trip helped me manage that shame, although it's still there, if I'm keeping it real. But it's, I just guess I kind of see things differently. And this is so weird. I don't know. I probably shouldn't share this. I don't know. But an unexpected thing that I got from this trip was gratitude for everything that happened. And in a weird way, peace about everything that happened, and like, this is going to sound so weird, but admiration for everything that happened. Let me explain. Not that, I would want to go back to any past relationship or anything, but when I was listening to the song by Christian Stanfill, when he says, if you don't give yourself completely, you won't get to see the beauty waiting on the other side. And for all of us out there who have been in something where we loved another person and we cared for another person and we gave our everything to another person, when it doesn't work out, we can feel really stupid for having those feelings. And it's so ridiculous because you're like, am I really shaming myself for caring about somebody, for loving someone? But it's just the weirdest thing that's how we feel. And it was like a weird progression. But during and after the trip, I was like, God, thank you for giving me the privilege of being loved by someone, and thank you for giving me the privilege to love someone. And that was super weird. I didn't understand why I was feeling that way, but the best way I can explain it is that it's hard to regret a relationship that doesn't work, because oftentimes it wasn't all bad. Now, I'm not saying to go back to that person, it ended for a reason. And, I'll speak for myself. I would never go back. I'm so grateful that things ended and that we moved past that, and that was just a chapter. But in a way, I'm like, what is life without love? You have nothing. If you don't give yourself completely, you're not going to see the beauty, the full richness that God gives us in this world, in anything. If you're looking to start a business, you have to give your all to that business. And you know what? It might fail. You know what? It might do bad. You know what? You might look stupid and you might feel stupid and you might have a lot of shame afterwards because it didn't work out. But what is life if you don't try? And whether it's a relationship, whether it's starting a business, whatever it is, trying to rekindle a relationship with a family member, it sucks when it doesn't work out. But at least you can walk away saying, you know what, God, I tried. I gave it my all, and I can walk away with peace knowing that that chapter is closed and that you closed it for a reason. And I'm not going to live in regret saying, I know I didn't give it my all to that relationship. I know I didn't give it my all to that family relationship. I know I didn't give it my all to that business venture that I've been wanting to do for the longest time. There is nothing like that peace knowing that you were genuine, you were authentic, and you gave your all to something. And it's something that you believed at the time was right for you. You believed God put in your heart to start that business, whatever it is, and that you gave it your all. You jumped into it completely. Now, I'm not saying to be reckless. I'm not saying to risk all your money and, be in a tough financial position or, give up parts of yourself that you shouldn't be at certain stages of your life. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is living with integrity, living with authenticity, being genuine, and taking a risk sometimes comes with the possibility that it's not going to work out. But at least you can say that you tried, and that one day you are going to face God, and he's going to say, girl, I saw you. Boy, I saw you. You heard what I was telling you. You felt it, and you tried. And that's all that I asked from you. In life, in every facet, in our professional life, in our personal life, all God asks of us is to set the table. I heard my pastor say this yesterday. Set the table, and he's going to do the rest. He's going to bring the meal. He's going to bring the feast. He's going to bring the beautiful deliciousness, the richness of life. He just asks you to set the table. But if you're like, I don't know if God's going to be bringing that feast. I don't know. I didn't see anything cooking in the kitchen. I don't know if it's actually going to go down. I'll put out one plate, but I'm not going to set the whole table. How are you going to reap the abundance and the harvest that God has for you if you don't do that? If you don't set the table? And in the weirdest way, I swear I don't completely understand it yet, but I'm grateful what happened. And that's something that really helped me with this solo trip, is being like, God, I'm glad it's over, but there were happy moments, and I felt loved, and I gave my love. I was in love, and that's beautiful. Do you get what I'm saying? How do you regret the currency of the world that is love? Nothing would exist if there was no love. God created you and me because of love. And you're going to beat yourself up for loving somebody. You're going to beat yourself up for having a passion to start a business because it's something you really care about. It's something that you really love, but it didn't work out. That is the risk of love. That is the risk of life. That is the risk of faith. Is saying, I'm going to give it my all, God, because I believe that no matter what happens, it's going to be good because your hand is over it. And I'm doing what you asked me to do. And I can walk away from it if it doesn't work out, saying, you know what? I listened to the Lord and I tried. And if that didn't work out, it didn't work out for a reason. And guess what? I now have new tools in my tool belt. God, thank you, Lord Jesus Christ. I learned so much in this past relationship. I know. And I thought, man, if I felt that degree of love, and maybe there were areas that weren't, it wasn't a good fit, what's it going to be like when it is the right person? It's going to be amazing. And I can't imagine, but I needed to learn. I know that I needed to learn the lessons that I learned in my past relationship. And that admiration I feel is admiration for the opportunity to love and to be loved, and to learn and to try and to risk it and to pick up the pieces and to move forward. And not everybody has the opportunity to love. Not everybody has love in their life. And it's hard to regret receiving that from someone and giving it to somebody. So if you're going through a breakup, if you're going through any facet of your life where you need healing, I hope that just serves as a friendly reminder that life is filled with risks, but life starts at the end of our comfort zone, and it starts with trying and giving it our all and setting the table so that God can do his thing. Taking the solo trip helped me shed parts of myself that really cared about what other people think. When you're at a restaurant by yourself, reading a book, laughing to yourself because what you're reading is funny, a thought that you had is funny, something that you're listening to made you laugh, and you're by yourself, and maybe you're going to get some weird looks. Maybe you're going to be walking around downtown with your little book, with your little notebook, and you might be getting some weird looks. But what happens, the funny thing is that when you exercise that muscle of just being yourself, being your authentic self, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, I promise you it gets a little easier and a little easier every time. So now I feel more, I'm definitely not perfect. I definitely have a lot of work, I still want to do for myself, but it's just weird. I feel this air of being more confident in myself, more confident in who I am, planning my next solo trip, knowing what's important to me, knowing what I want, but still being open to learn, because God knows I still have so much to learn. But now, if people give me weird looks just in doing anything in life, it doesn't impact me as much because I'm a little more comfortable with myself than who I was before the trip. So if you're going through a difficult time in your life, or maybe your confidence really took a hit, maybe you went through something really difficult, a death in the family, whatever it is that needs healing, maybe you've been caring too much about what people think about you in your life, I encourage you to put yourself outside of your comfort zone in whatever way, whatever you think you need, only you and the Lord know. But I want to encourage you that it is possible and that it does get easier. And hey, you're taking a risk, and maybe, just maybe, you're going to leave that situation and you're going to feel so much more confident in who you are, and you're going to have so much more clarity on where the Lord is taking you next. Pursue the career, the direction I want to take my career. I have no doubt that God is going to supply abundance in my life. I have no doubt that God is not going to supply what He's promised me, because that's who He is. He can't do anything but that. It is in His character to be good. And it may not come exactly how you expect it to come, but if we serve Him, if we look to Him at every step that we take, He is going to bring you the most incredible life that we can never imagine. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you all thought of this video. Feel free to leave a comment below, like, subscribe for more of these videos in the future, or feel free to shoot me a DM if you feel more comfortable about maybe a solo trip that you've always wanted to take, that you've been thinking about. I would love to talk about that with you. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. True wealth is peace. I would love to know your opinion on this. Again, it could be a DM, a comment, or nothing at all, but I've heard different things on this matter, saying, when you're dating somebody, when you're getting to know somebody,